So pretty much everyone right now is running around with a Blixen or a Marco 5 SMG, and don't get me wrong, it's getting a bit boring now when it comes to the SMG metas inside Warzone, but in this video we're going to be going over 6 of the fastest TTK SMGs at close range that you can vary up from those two weapons. If you do enjoy this style of content, don't forget to subscribe as we'll try to reach our goal of 50k subscribers. Click that link and subscribe to our second channel. But like I said, this video is all about the SMGs and we're mainly focusing on close range SMGs that are going to be great in terms of TTKs. Now starting off at number 6, we have a gun that was very popular way back when Vanguard first came into Warzone, and it was the hipfire build for the ppsh from Vanguard, and it's still a very solid build and you can still use it really well. The only issue and drawback is that the main focus for this build is hipfiring, so it's almost like using kind of like those akimbo weapons. But overall it's still one of the fastest time to kills in the game. So you do want to use the recoil booster for the faster fire rate. You do want to use a 230mm barrel. This is going to be the best barrel to give you better hip fire accuracy, but also gives you the faster fire rate, which is going to be the better TTK. Then you want to use a slate reflector. You can choose whatever optic you like. Some of the ones actually help with accuracy and recoil control, like the G16 for example, will also help when you're hip firing, so it's probably better off using some of them. But personally I just like to have the slate reflector on there so I can aim down sight if I need to. Remove stock is going to be the best for sprint speed, but also for hip fire accuracy as well. Then we're using Fleet, and we don't really have gung-ho with this weapon, which would be ideal, but Fleet definitely does help out in terms of getting that faster movement speed and sprint to fire as well. Then you want to use perk 2 as quick, and that's going to help with the sprint speeds once again. Pine tar grip is going to be a solid option to help with the recoil control. If you feel like you don't really need it, but most people probably will, then you can actually go for the taped grip, which helps with movement speed and sprint to fire, which is extremely important, and this will help you move around way quicker. It's another option to be honest, but I do think the pine tar is more important in this case. Nambu mags are the best, that give you the best possible TTK, and then hollow point is just going to make sure you're getting that extra limb damage because we're hip firing for the most part. And then when it comes to the underbarrel, personally I like the Carver 4 grip for the extra recoil control, but you can also use the pistol grip, which is going to help with the hip fire accuracy and sprint to fire. You can also use the skeletal underbarrel as well, but this will con your hip fire accuracy, so it's kind of a bit of a trade-off. You could choose a couple of different options, but at number 5 we have the most popular SMG in this game right now, which is the Blixen SMG. This gun is getting chosen more than any other weapon in this game at the minute. And the build for it is pretty simple because we've been using it for such a long time now. So recoil booster for the faster fire rate, you want to use the F3 barrel, which is going to give you the best possible recoil control. Slate reflector, or you could choose whatever optic you like. Remove stock is going to give you the best possible movement speeds. Fleet again for the better possible movement speeds. Quick is going to give you the better sprint speed. Polymer grip for the recoil control is the only attachment you really need there because the barrel is going to also help. 54 round Grenko mags, which is the best for TTK of course. Lengthened, or you could choose subsonic, you could also choose hollow point, all are really good options here. And then the skeletal underbarrel, you can also choose the hand stop or the Carver 4 grip as well. The next two guns actually have the exact same TTK and both kill quicker than the Blixen SMG, so if you do want to try something different, then you could try out both of these SMGs. And first of all, we do have the Sten, and the reason why the Sten isn't so popular is because the recoil is a little bit harder to manage. And the kind of main thing for the Sten right now, other than its TTK of course, is that the mags are a bit small at 36 rounds, and that's why the Blixen is so popular. And then on top of that, the movement speed is absolutely insane, and that's probably one of the benefits to this weapon. It's probably got the fastest movement speed out of any gun in the entire game at the minute. So this is the build you need to use. So recoil booster for the faster fire rate, rapid barrel for the faster fire rate, slate reflector, Gawaiian para stock, which is going to help with the movement speed, acrobatic, which is going to help with the movement speed. You can also choose gung-ho as well, but obviously we're mainly building this for the fastest possible movement like I said. Perk 2 is going to help with sprint speeds. Tape grip again for that movement speed. 36 round Grenko mags is going to give you the best possible TTK, although like I said, the mag capacity is just a bit too small to use this in trios or quads. Lengthened as your ammunition type, again you can use hollow point, subsonic. And then the skeletal underbarrel. Now, the skeletal underbarrel is a solid option if you want a bit more recoil control, go for the hand stop or the Carver. But all in all, definitely a super quick moving SMG. So if you just want something that you can sprint around the map with and get a couple of easy kills, especially if you're playing maybe solos on the new Fortune's Keep map, then this might actually be an extremely solid replacement for the Blixen, and it'll outgun it as well. At number 3, we have my favorite SMG to use, and this also has the same TTK as the Sten, although this is a more well-rounded weapon. Now, the TTKs are the same at close range, but once you get into longer ranges, the Armaguerra is a way better weapon. It's better at recoil control, the movement's pretty solid too, and just overall the damage per mag on this gun is pretty good as well. So for the build, you do want to use the recoil booster for the faster fire rate. You do want to use the body barrel, and this is going to give you the best possible TTKs because it increases your damage. Then you want to use a slate reflector. The folding stock is definitely the best for movement. Steady perk, you can choose hard scope if you need a bit more recoil control, but personally, I like having that strafe speed. Then we are using quick, as always, polymer grip to help with the recoil. 60 round mags, and this is going to be the best for TTK on this gun, and it's one of the larger ones available. Lengthened, or again, you could choose some of the other options, and then the skeletal underbarrel for the better movement speed once again. I do think the skeletal underbarrel is a very solid option now, especially since it improves movement speed and ADS. I think it's going to be an extremely solid option for pretty much every SMG build from Vanguard. At number 2, of course, we've got the DLC gun, and that is the Marco 5 SMG. Because this gun got added in with the new seasonal update, of course, it's going to be the main meta weapon, so it's going to have to be up at the top of the list in terms of TTKs as well. So for the build, you can make this gun have an insanely fast TTK with the body barrel, and that's going to give you faster fire rate, of course. But the overall main build is this one right here. So you want to use the recoil booster for the faster fire rate, the Amaretto barrel for the recoil control, slate reflector, the Amaretto stock as well. Now, even though it cons your recoil, I feel like if you pair this with the barrel and then also put on the polymer grip, which we have on this, you can actually cancel out this con. And the issue with that is I used to recommend the Perfetto stock, but the movement is just way too slow with this. In my opinion, even though it gives you the recoil control benefits. Perk, we're using momentum, but you can choose whatever you want. Maybe gung ho is a solid option as well. Quick, polymer grip to counteract the stock like we said before. 48 round drum mags is definitely a must. The Nambu ones will slow you down way too much unless you're making that hipfire build or the akimbo build. And then lengthened, and then the skeletal underbarrel for the better movement speeds once again. Last but not least, at number 1, we have my updated build on the Type 100. Now, I've tried this out on Fortune's Keep on solos, and I beat the Blixen every single time, and I've beat the Marco 5 every single time as well with this build, because it's literally the fastest TTK SMG in the game. Now, I have had to make a few adjustments to this gun as well, because the Blixen, as we all know, has some of the insanely fast movement speeds. It's absolutely ridiculous. And if you build the Marco 5 correctly, you can also have really good movement speeds. And I felt like that's where this gun was actually getting drawn back, although we can't really make too many changes because then the recoil is too high. So I have found a good balance, and that's the build right here. So recoil booster for the faster fire rate, rapid barrel, faster fire rate. We need that for the TTK. You also do need the 36 round mag, and this is why this is only viable for solos and maybe duos, but even duos is pushing it, because when I do try this out on solos, you have to reload every single time after every gunfight. But the changes that I did make here, so obviously we're using the slate reflector as always, the skeletal stock as always, and then I use the skeletal underbarrel here. Now, obviously, like I said earlier on, it's going to help with movement speed, but it also needs to help with that ADS time, because I felt like the ADS was a bit too slow with this gun. Then we're using lengthened. You can choose whatever else you want here if you need subsonic, for example. Polymer grip to control the recoil is the only attachment really we're using here to control recoil. Acrobatic for the faster movement speeds. Like I said, this gun's a bit too slow. And then we are using quick for the faster sprint speeds. But overall, definitely the fastest killing SMG in the game. And there we have 6 of the fastest TTK SMGs inside Warzone. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe as we try to reach that goal of 50k. Click that link and subscribe to our second channel. And thank you very much for watching.